Respect is first lost in words. Not in mistakes, not in stumbles, but in what you let slip from your mouth without thinking. The way you speak reveals your character before you do anything. You can dress elegantly, exude confidence, or have achievements to show, but if your language sounds weak, all of that crumbles. There are phrases that seem harmless, but are slow poison. I'm sorry, when there's nothing to regret. Maybe, when you actually know the answer. I can't, when you haven't even tried. Every time you use them, you give up a bit of authority, and you don't realize it until one day you discover that no one takes you seriously. The Stoics knew it. Mastering the tongue is mastering the character. Seneca said that words are the measure of the mind. You don't need to shout for your voice to carry weight. You need precision, pause, and firmness. People don't respect the one who talks the most. They respect the one who speaks with intention. This video doesn't aim for you to sound nice or to avoid making others uncomfortable. It aims for you to stop sabotaging yourself with your own language. If you want to be heard, you first have to stop speaking like someone who asks for permission to exist. Here you will learn to identify the words that wear down your presence and replace them with firm, conscious, and disciplined language. Because every sentence you utter can open doors for you or slam them in your face. From today, you're going to discover that true respect isn't begged for. It's projected very clearly. Silence the "I'm sorry" that makes you invisible. There are people who live apologizing for existing. Every sentence they say begins with an "I'm sorry," even though they haven't done anything wrong. It's almost automatic. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm sorry for asking. I'm sorry for bothering. Unknowingly, each unnecessary apology tears away a piece of their presence and tells others, I don't deserve to take up space. This is how, little by little, they become invisible. Saying I'm sorry when you've made a real mistake is a sign of maturity and respect. But apologizing for simply having an opinion, for needing something, or for being in the place that belongs to you is a sign of insecurity. It's the silent confession that you believe your mere existence is a nuisance. The problem is not politeness, but the habit of apologizing for living. The Stoics would understand this very well. For them, personal worth does not depend on the approval of others, but on your own judgment. If you know you've done nothing unjust, you should not bow your head. Seneca wrote that no one has the right to belittle you unless you give them that permission. And each unnecessary apology is a surrender you willingly give. Think about the times you've seen someone in a meeting or conversation raise their hand to speak, and before expressing their idea say, I'm sorry, maybe this isn't important, but in that instant they lose authority. It doesn't matter if their idea is brilliant. The I'm sorry turned them into someone who doubts their own worth. The audience, even if unconsciously, perceives this insecurity and stops giving them the respect they deserved. Words not only communicate ideas, they transmit invisible hierarchy. Whoever apologizes unnecessarily places themselves below others, as if seeking their permission to exist. Therefore, when you eliminate that I'm sorry that doesn't correspond, something changes. Your voice stops sounding like a whisper asking for permission and starts sounding like someone who knows they have the right to speak. This doesn't mean becoming rude or losing empathy. It's about recognizing that you don't need to excuse yourself for asking for what you deserve or for having a presence in a conversation. Imagine walking into a store, asking about a product and saying, I'm sorry, could you show me this model? You haven't done anything wrong, but the I'm sorry communicates submission. If you change it to, please, could you show me this model? Why, the sentence sounds polite but firm. There's the difference. Politeness is not servility. Practicing this Stoic lesson involves monitoring your daily language and detecting each time an I'm sorry slips out without reason. Ask yourself, have I made a mistake? Have I caused harm? If the answer is no, then there's nothing to regret. Save those apologies for the moments that really matter. Thus, when you pronounce them, they will carry weight and credibility. Respect begins with how you respect yourself with your words. If you speak like someone who has to justify everything, others will believe it. If you speak like someone who knows they have the right to be here, they will also believe it. From today, stop apologizing for existing. Because every unnecessary "I'm sorry" not only robs you of power, but also trains others to do the same. 2. Speak with certainty, not with shadows of doubt. People follow those who sound confident, not those who hesitate. You may have the best argument in the world, but if you present it with weak words, it loses all its weight. Every time you fill your sentences with "maybe," "I think," "perhaps," or "I'm not sure," you open the door for others to decide for you. The problem is not acknowledging that you don't know everything. The problem is turning insecurity into a habit that weakens your voice. In the real world, whoever speaks firmly inspires trust, even if they are wrong, whereas whoever sounds insecure provokes doubts, even when they are right. It's unfair, but that's how human perception works. People confuse the tone of confidence with authority. If you sound like you doubt your own words, no one is going to risk trusting you. The Stoics understood that clarity is power. Epictetus taught that we should speak about what we know and keep quiet about what we ignore, but never drag words with hesitations that confuse. A clear statement doesn't have to be arrogant. It's a reflection of self-control and mastery of thought. Think about an everyday conversation. Someone asks, "Which way do we take to get there?" And you respond, "I think it's that way, maybe. I'm not really sure." Even if you're right, your answer doesn't inspire confidence. On the other hand, if you say, "We go this route, I know the way," even if an obstacle arises later, people trust to follow you. The difference lies in the certainty with which you speak, not in the final result. Words filled with doubt not only harm how others perceive you, but they also shape your mind. Each repeated "I'm not sure" becomes an echo that erodes your self-confidence. It's like building a wall between what you think and what you manage to say. The more you hesitate, the more you train your brain to believe that you lack power over your own ideas. A Stoic advice to reverse this habit is to discipline your language. Say what you know clearly and don't embellish what you don't know with excuses. If you don't have the answer, say it with the same firmness. "I don't have the information at this moment, but I will find out." That sounds responsible, not weak. If you know the answer, express it without asking for permission or softening it with "I think" or "maybe." In meetings, discussions, or even in personal relationships, people who speak confidently usually lead the conversation, while those who dissolve in doubts end up following the rhythm of others. It's not about raising your voice or imposing yourself, but about eliminating the verbal shadows that detract from your message. Respect begins when your language shows that you know what you're saying. Whoever speaks with certainty conveys mental order. Whoever hesitates, internal chaos. And the world trusts those who seem to have clarity. Start observing yourself. Count how many times a day you use words that dilute your strength. Every time you catch yourself saying "I think" when you do know, correct it instantly. Make your language a training for your character. Verbal clarity becomes mental clarity. Speaking with certainty is not pretending that you know everything. It's respecting your voice and your judgment. If you don't trust your words, no one else will. From today, eliminate the shadows of doubt and let your voice be a declaration of presence. Because in the end, people don't follow the loudest or the friendliest. They follow the one who conveys confidence with every word. 3. Erase the "I can't" that chains your mind. "I can't" is a short phrase, but it carries the weight of a cell. Every time you pronounce it, you close a door without even trying to open it. Worse yet, it's an invisible chain that not only ties your actions, but also the way others perceive you. Whoever lives repeating "I can't" ends up believing themselves incapable and teaches others to believe it too. Most of the time, it's not that you can't. It's that you don't want to face the effort, the risk, or the discomfort that the task demands. But language matters. When you say, I can't, your mind interprets it as a real limit, as if you had crashed into an immovable wall. And there begins the self-deception that weakens character. The Stoics despised this attitude. Epictetus taught that not everything is under our control, but it is in our hands to choose our response and strive for what we can change. Saying I can't before trying is to give up your own judgment and hand over control to laziness or fear. The real limit is not in the action, it's in the phrase you chose to describe it. Think about how many opportunities are lost due to that small declaration of defeat. A promotion at work that you didn't apply for because you said, I can't handle that responsibility. A project that never started because you believed, I can't dedicate time to it. An important conversation you avoided because you thought, I can't handle the conflict. Those words, said over and over again, not only slow down movement, but shape a character that gets used to giving up before starting. There is a huge difference between recognizing a real limit and giving up out of habit. Saying I can't fly is a fact. Saying I can't learn, I can't change, I can't face is self-deception. The first is a physical truth. The second, an excuse that erodes your mental discipline. The Stoics proposed a radical approach. Eliminate the I can't from your vocabulary and replace it with phrases that reflect reality without destroying your will. If something is difficult, say it. It's difficult, but I'll try. If something requires time, admit, I haven't achieved it yet, but I'm working on it. The change is not semantic, it's psychological. You stop declaring defeat and start declaring action. Observe the people you respect. It's not that they have more facilities, it's that they rarely give up with words. They know that their language builds the perception others have of them. A leader who says, I can't handle this situation, loses credibility instantly. A leader who says, I don't have the solution yet, but I'll find it, inspires confidence. Practicing this Stoic lesson means watching every time the I can't tries to escape from your mouth. Stop and ask yourself, is it really impossible or just uncomfortable? 9 out of 10 times you'll discover it was just discomfort disguised as impossibility. When you erase the I can't, you begin to free up mental space for action. You stop focusing on the obstacle and start focusing on the next possible step. That small verbal discipline changes your stance towards life and others. You go from appearing like someone who gives up to someone who looks for solutions. Respect from others is not one with complaints or excuses, but with the attitude of someone who does not run away from the challenge. If you want to project strength, start by changing the way you talk about yourself. From today, every time you're about to say, I can't, remember that this phrase does not describe your real capacity, it describes your choice to give up and choose another word. 4. Make your voice weigh more than a whatever. Whatever seems like a harmless phrase, but in reality it is a slow poison that weakens your presence. Every time you respond with a doesn't matter or a whatever when you do have an opinion, you become a shadow in the conversation. It's the silent declaration that what you think doesn't matter. And the moment you communicate that it doesn't matter, others stop taking you seriously. The words you use to decide reveal how much value you give to your own judgment. Saying whatever may seem neutral, but it conveys apathy and lack of direction. Nobody follows someone who seems not to care about anything. On the contrary, respect is born from someone who has clarity and demonstrates that they know what they want, even in the smallest details. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies in one's own judgment. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind is the master of its opinions, and that giving them up is to surrender your power to others. Every time you say whatever, you give up that sovereignty. It may seem like a minor concession, giving up the choice of the restaurant, the course, the decision in the meeting. But in reality, you are training others to ignore your voice. Think about the everyday. Someone asks you where you prefer to sit, which project option you choose, which way to go. You respond whatever. Maybe you do it to avoid conflict or seem flexible, but the hidden message is that your judgment carries no weight. Over time, those around you learn not to ask you anything important, because they already know that your answer will be irrelevant. Respect is not about always imposing your will, but about showing that your opinion has direction. Saying, "I prefer this," or "I lean towards that," is not being stubborn. It's showing that you know what you want. Whoever always gives in out of laziness to think or to inconvenience ends up paying the price of being invisible in the decisions that do matter to them. From the Stoic perspective, having a voice means using reason to choose, not to please. Seneca warned that whoever does not govern himself is governed by others. Every time you say whatever out of habit, you move away from that self-government and get used to living under the decisions of others. The first step to regain the weight of your voice is to stop before responding. Ask yourself what you really prefer, even if it's a minor detail. Practice expressing that preference in a simple but firm way. If you are given options, choose one. "I prefer this for this reason." It's a small act of affirmation that strengthens your presence. This doesn't mean becoming inflexible or selfish. It means to stop diluting yourself in apathy. When you speak clearly, even disagreements are more respected because they reveal that you think for yourself. Someone who always says whatever not only loses weight in their words, but teaches others that they have no boundaries, no opinions, no direction. Your voice weighs when you show that you use it to decide and not to disappear. Every time you choose, instead of giving in by inertia, you are training your mind to stand firm. And it shows in everything, at work, in relationships, and in your own confidence. From today, eliminate the whatever from your vocabulary. Learn to say calmly what you think and what you prefer. Because every decision, no matter how small, shapes the image the world has of you. If your voice doesn't weigh, you become a spectator of your own life. If your voice has clarity, even in simple details, everyone will know that your presence counts. 5. Break away from the extremes that kill dialogue. Few things weaken personal authority as much as speaking from extremes. Absolute words like always and never seem to strengthen the argument, but in reality, they empty it. When you say, "You never listen to me," or "I always make mistakes," it sounds dramatic but lacks truth. People stop taking you seriously because they understand that you are exaggerating. And an exaggerated voice loses credibility, even if it is right in essence. Absolute language is a hammer. It hits hard, but it builds nothing. It serves to unload frustration, not to resolve. And every time you use it, instead of opening a conversation, you build a wall. It is impossible to dialogue with someone who declares that everything is always or never. Such rigidity not only blocks understanding, but also locks you into a role of victim or judge that leaves no room for change. Stoics despised extremes because they break the connection with reality. Epictetus taught that virtue lies in the control of judgment and not being dragged by passions. When you say always or never, you are not describing the facts, you are describing your emotional state at that moment. You speak from anger or resentment, not from reason. Look at any everyday argument. Someone is late and you blurt out, "You are always late." The phrase does not seek to understand or fix the problem, it seeks to punish. The same happens when you say you never do anything right to a colleague or a family member. Perhaps there were mistakes, but such exaggeration destroys mutual respect and makes the other person close off to listening to you. A firm and fair comment weighs more than an excessive accusation. Saying, "You have been late several times this week, I need you to correct it," carries weight and opens up space for a solution. Saying, "You are always late," only generates defenses. In the first case, you sound rational and reliable. In the second, impulsive and unfair. Adopting the verbal self-control promoted by the Stoics requires stopping before emotions dictate the phrase. Every time you feel the urge to say always or never, stop and ask yourself, is it really like that, or am I letting anger speak for me? That pause is a character training that not only improves your communication, but also strengthens your self-control. Respect is earned when your language reflects justice and balance. Nobody trusts someone who distorts the facts to win an argument. If you want your words to have authority, speak with accuracy. Name the facts, do not exaggerate the pattern. People respect more someone who can point out a problem without falling into drama. Think about the figures you consider leaders. You will rarely see them speaking in extremes. They know that every word counts and that an exaggerated statement can destroy their credibility. The strength of their voice comes from calm and precision, not from excess. Start noticing how many times a day you use absolutes and correct them. Change the "you always do this" to "you tend to do this often." Change the "you never help" to "lately you have not been available." These are simple adjustments that transform the way others receive your message. Breaking away from extremes does not mean softening the truth. It means showing it without distortions. By doing so, your words stop sounding like an attack and start sounding like a call for respect and solution. And that is the voice worth listening to, the one that does not seek to humiliate or dramatize, but to influence with clarity and justice. 6. Master the art of the pause before each word. One of the clearest signs of lack of personal control is the rush to respond. Most people speak as if silence were an enemy that needs to be filled as soon as possible. Words come out jumbled, unfiltered, and in that speed, clarity, respect, and often dignity are lost. Those who do not master the pause seem slaves to their impulses, and no one respects those who cannot even govern their own tongue. The power of the pause is not new. The Stoics saw it as an act of self-control. The mind that knows how to stop for a moment before speaking shows that it is not dominated by emotion. Seneca said that he who is master of his words is master of his mind, and that pause, however brief, separates the wise from the impulsive. Think about everyday arguments. Someone provokes you, raises their voice, accuses you of something unfair. The common reaction is to respond immediately, returning the blow with the same intensity. But if you give that brief space before responding, you disarm the conflict. That pause is not weakness, it's strategy. It gives you enough time to choose the words that weigh, not the ones that hurt. The pause also has a psychological effect on those who listen to you. A person who does not rush to respond conveys authority and serenity. Their words seem calculated, not thrown at random. It's the kind of presence that silences a room without raising a voice. On the other hand, those who rush to fill every silence project anxiety and weakness. In professional life, the pause is even more powerful. A leader who keeps a moment of silence before answering a difficult question shows that they reflect, that their answer is not impulsive. That impression of thought and control gives weight to what they say next. The same happens in personal conversations. A second of silence before speaking gives value to your words, as if they had been carefully chosen. Practicing this Stoic discipline is simple in theory, but difficult in practice. Breathe before speaking. Mentally count to 2 if emotion overwhelms you. Observe the reaction of others before responding. That small space of time is where self-control is born. We must understand that silence is not emptiness, it is presence. It is a reminder that you are not in a hurry to convince anyone or to prove anything. Speaking too quickly, jumping from sentence to sentence, reveals insecurity. Keeping silence before responding shows that you trust yourself and that you don't need to compete with noise to be heard. The respect you seek does not depend on how much you say, but on how you say it. When you eliminate the impulse to fill every silence, you make each word carry the weight of a decision. Thus, even short phrases acquire authority. In daily practice, apply the pause in moments of tension and also in moments of enthusiasm. Before accepting a proposal, giving advice, or making a criticism, stop. That pause allows you to measure the impact of what you are about to say. Many times, you will discover that what you are going to say was not worth it. Mastering the pause is an act of respect towards yourself and others. You stop reacting like a spark that ignites with any touch and become someone who decides which fire to light and which to extinguish. From today, do not fear silence. Make it your ally, because words gain power, not only by what they express, but also by the space you give them to breathe. 7. Give weight to each sentence as if it were a command to destiny. The words you speak are not empty air. They are declarations about who you are and where you are heading. When you speak without conviction, your voice becomes a murmur that no one remembers. But when each sentence sounds as if it carries the weight of an inevitable promise, people listen to you differently. You don't need to shout or impress. What makes your words matter is the power they convey when spoken with intention. The common mistake is to speak as if nothing mattered. Loose sentences, careless comments, bland statements that dissolve in the air. This way of expressing oneself is what makes others ignore your ideas, even if they are good. Authority does not come from saying a lot, but from saying the right thing with a tone that shows you believe in what you affirm. The Stoics understood this well. The verb shapes the action. Epictetus taught that we should speak only of what is necessary, and do so with the same discipline with which we train the body and mind. Each sentence is an act of will. It reveals the control you have over yourself. If you speak with indecision, you reflect inner chaos. If you speak with firmness, you show that your character supports what you say. Think about the difference between these two responses. Maybe I could try and I will do it. The first sounds like a fragile wish. The second is a commitment. When you speak as if your words were a command to destiny, you begin to influence your own mind and also those who listen to you. They perceive that what you say is not a passing whim, but a decision that has already taken shape. This is not about sounding dramatic, but about taking care of the weight of each sentence. It means eliminating the excess of words that dilute the message. Fewer justifications, fewer detours. Speaking with determination forces your brain to align with your words. Thus, language becomes an anchor that keeps you firm when doubt or fear appear. In everyday life, apply this lesson by committing to goals, setting boundaries, or expressing needs. Don't say, I'll try to set boundaries. Say, from today I set this boundary. Don't say, I hope to improve. Say, I'm going to improve. That difference in language changes not only others' perception of you, but also your relationship with the challenge you face. Give weight to your words by speaking less and promising less, but delivering more. When others perceive that your sentences are few, clear, and consistent with your actions, your voice begins to command the respect of a silent order. Speaking as if each sentence were a command to destiny does not mean being inflexible or authoritarian. It means recognizing the power of the word as a reflection of your character. From today, let everything you say have intention, direction, and firmness. Because the world does not listen to the one who speaks the most, but to the one who utters words that seem to have an inevitable destiny. 8. Use silence as your best argument. Silence is the most underestimated tool in a world that never stops making noise. Most people fear to remain silent because they believe that if they don't speak, they lose presence. But silence doesn't make you weak. On the contrary, when you master it, it becomes the purest form of authority. A well-placed silence can disarm your attacker, discomfort the liar, and highlight the truth more than 1,000 words. Think about the last argument you witnessed. Almost always, the one who speaks less wins, not because they have fewer arguments, but because they know how to wait. The one who rushes to fill every void with explanations ends up losing control of the conversation. Those who strategically remain silent demonstrate that they don't need to justify themselves or convince anyone by shouting. That calmness is power, and others feel it even if they can't explain it. The Stoics saw silence as an essential discipline. Seneca warned that one should learn to be silent more than they speak, because in silence the mind is ordered and character is revealed. They didn't remain silent out of cowardice, but out of respect for their own words. A man who speaks all the time without thinking loses value in his own eyes and in the eyes of others. On the other hand, the one who allows himself to remain silent becomes someone whose voice is listened to attentively when he decides to break it. Silence also has a psychological effect on others. It forces them to face their own words. In the face of provocation, if you respond calmly and then remain silent, the other person feels exposed to their own noise. That empty space reveals insecurity in the one who shouts and transmits strength in the one who remains silent. It's not about becoming mute or avoiding dialogue. It's about understanding that not all situations deserve an immediate response. Often responding only feeds useless conflicts. Silence in those moments is a declaration that you don't enter into others' games. Think of a leader in the midst of a crisis. If they talk too much, they give the impression of nervousness. If they keep a brief silence before giving an instruction, they convey serenity and control. The same happens in everyday conversations. Someone provokes you with a sarcastic comment. Instead of reacting, you look at them and remain silent. That pause is more uncomfortable than any reply and makes it clear that it doesn't affect you. Practicing silence as an argument requires courage. It takes inner strength to resist the urge to defend, explain, or justify yourself. It's an exercise in self-control. You choose not to waste words where they won't bring any results. In everyday life, start by observing how many times you speak just to fill the space. Learn to curb that need. Remain silent when the answer won't change the outcome, when the provocation only seeks your reaction, when the moment demands reflection. Each conscious silence is an affirmation of your control and your worth. The respect you inspire increases when others perceive that you don't react to every provocation. They know that if you speak, it's because there's something worth saying, and that makes your words gain special weight. Silence used with intention is not the absence of voice. It's the strongest voice of your character. From today, make it part of your language. Let silence speak when words are superfluous, and let your voice appear only when it has the power to change the moment. Thus, even without saying anything, you will still have the last word. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.